Pedestrian crosswalk. Well, if you're disabled, good luck. If you use a mobility device, good luck getting off the curb. Right here in North Island Avenue. I believe it's St. Louis. There used to be a sign here that said Senior Zone. They have removed it. I wonder why. Because we do have a building full of seniors down the street.
To that law, that is Duaha in Hype Vision. And though there's no evidence that that's actually what is happening on the ground in England, Wales, or Scotland, at least a third of police forces in the countries use those cameras. Now, there's no timeline for de-installing cameras and replacing them with new ones. Those, of course, will likely be made in Europe or the United States. But with the average lifespan of surveillance cameras being about 7 years, those will soon likely be up for replacement, making this job a whole lot easier. Reporting for NewsNet, I'm Ryan Thompson.
For example, we need to protect kids. That should be easy, low-hanging fruit.
In a public announcement this week, the FBI warned that artificial intelligence is being used to harass victims or force extortion. The agency says reports continue to come in from victims who say their photos and videos were technologically altered into explicit content.
AI is no longer the province of computer scientists. Anybody can use it, and there are going to be both good and bad uses that come out of it.
As its prevalence expands, more industry experts are calling for regulation.
AI is already here. It's in wide use across industries and society, and it is fast shaping our future. The time is right to ensure that the right laws and policies are in place to enable that future.
The Senate is expected to host 3 bipartisan briefings on artificial intelligence in the coming weeks as it tries to address the technology's influence. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
This is the second time today that police have responded to shots fired at a Fulton County mall. Earlier today, officers were called to the Greenbrier Mall. They say no one was hurt in that incident, but several people were detained. Under the weather right now, and meteorologist.
Wellstar committed nearly $800 million in a partnership with August University Health System. But less than a year ago, Wellstar closed 2 Atlanta area hospitals.
Now, the closures of Atlanta Medical Center and the Wellstar East Point Clinic created what critics call a healthcare desert. Local leaders sounded out at a meeting of the Senate Health and Services Committee this week, saying the areas that the closed hospitals serve are mostly black. Wellstar officials fought back, saying skyrocketing labor costs and the loss of COVID relief funds created a financial burden that they could not overcome.
That's bull crap.
That is not the outcome we wanted. Nor is it a decision we made lightly or abruptly. We were unable to find a partner because each of them reached the same conclusion we did. AMC's trajectory was not sustainable and would likely only grow worse with time.
The state has launched an investigation into the closures. Lawmakers now want the IRS to get involved.
A Cobb County canine officer
took the money and ran.
Hot patrol car.
Into the hospital. As of right now, it's unclear how that package got there to begin with. Today, traffic and safety experts came together for a AAA summit to work on solutions to try to help prevent fatalities and limit injuries on Georgia's roads. The summit focused on discussing each element of roadway safety, which includes safer roads, safer speeds, safer vehicles, post-crash care, and safer drivers. They say each of these factors are connected and important when on the road. We spoke to one expert who was there and agrees.
The only way to get this solved and to get to a future where no one dies on a roadway is for everybody to work together and talking to each other at the most local level. So in a rural area, in a local area, public health should be talking to post-crash care, should be talking to law enforcement, talk to the schools, talk to the parent organizations, talk to the engineers, talk to everybody, and start to get your arms around this.
They don't teach drivers that anymore.
Conversations across Georgia for improving safety on the roads to help save lives. Stronger and
situation for people downtown.
Yeah, Atlanta Fire Rescue said several people were exposed to that substance. Now, they all seemed fine, but between the threats in that letter and the unknown substance, well, it certainly was a tense and scary situation.
And I saw just like maybe 3 cop cars, a fire truck, and an ambulance from Grady.
First responders raced to the Crone Engineered Biosystems building at the corner of State and 10th Streets on the Georgia Tech campus. University officials say a letter was mailed to the building that was threatening and had an unknown substance inside. 6 people were exposed to it. Atlanta Fire believed the substance was fentanyl.
Definitely a scary situation.
Katie Quo says she received an email from the building manager.
They didn't really tell us explicit text, but just that there was implications that it could affect the research animals inside the facility.
The building was evacuated, and hazardous material crews went in and cleaned it. A few hours later, university officials released an update saying the substance was tested by the FBI and postal inspectors and was determined to be sugar and not fentanyl. Many students still have a lot of questions about that threatening letter.
What is the explanation for all of this? Because it doesn't really make sense.
University of
Joy Black says this memorial on East Washington Street in East Point marks the spot where her 9-year-old son, King Black, was killed on Saturday night.
He was like into sports. He just liked to be outside, be a normal kid, and just play with his friends.
His mom says he was a rising 4th grader at Hamilton E. Holmes Elementary School who loved music and dreamed of one day having his own children.
When I get older and I'm going to be a dad. I don't know why he used to always say that, but he always said he wanted to be a father.
Joy says they'd spent the day at the pool together, and when they returned home around 6:30, King ran outside to play with friends.
All I can remember from that day is just the banging on my door. It's like, King's been shot. And then I just ran over there.
She says she found her son with his friends just 1 street behind her house.
And he was collapsed, laying down on his stomach. He was just bleeding really bad. And I just lay next to him and I just told him to be strong and I love him.
King died at the hospital. East Point police telling 11 Alive that after interviewing witnesses, the investigation is still active, but they now believe he was shot inside a home before collapsing outside. Joy says King fought for his life, and she will spend her life fighting for him.
I want justice for him. I want justice for my son. No baby deserves to die like that.
Black says she is originally from Michigan, and once her son buried there, the family has set up an online fundraiser for funeral expenses. If you want to contribute, you can find it on our website at 11alive.com.
Come out here now that school is out, but police tell us someone opened fire hitting 2 people. The details are trickling in, but here's what we can tell you right now. Police say the shooter took off. 1 victim was airlifted to a hospital, the other in an ambulance. No word on their conditions or who they were. A viewer tells us they heard shots. People began running. Police spoke just a short time ago. Take a listen.
The suspect had fled from the scene, and because it is an active investigation, detectives are on scene here, processing the scene. The detectives did locate a handgun at the scene. They are interviewing witnesses and investigating all leads.
Now, police say they found a handgun on scene. It is not clear who that gun belonged to. Police are interviewing witnesses. So far, no motive. Now, this is a breaking story. The details are still coming in. We will give them to you when we get them. For now, we're live at the North Point Mall in Alpharetta. Christopher King, Fox 5 News.
I knew they still had problems here. That's why all that work had to be redone. They should have put some damn sediment stuff down there at the storm drains. Looks like somebody's trying to make them a door. Somebody's vehicle got back here. All glass.